Well, I'm going to make another holster. I've got something here that's called Holtex, Holtex. I just got a couple pieces, and I'm going to strap this down. Now, like I say, the only reason why I use the clamps is to hold this from moving. So I clamp it here to the table saw, and underneath the table saw where this lip is, I bolted in a 2x4 under there, or actually it's a 2x3, the length of that, so I can get a good clamp on it when I need it. Otherwise, you're wasting a lot up underneath, so it gives me a good clamping place. How's that for a tech word? So the only time I use the clamp is for this. Now, if I was doing this all the time, which I'm not, all right, I just got the urge to make a couple holsters for the Scys. I would have this actually bolted down to its own little table area, you know. But seeing that it's always temporary for me, and the other thing is I really haven't got a whole lot of room here either, so that kind of makes it as well. Between all the other crap and all the other hobbies that I have, it makes it tough sometimes. That's why I say I definitely have to think about what we're doing here. I say it over and over again, but if we're going to stay here, I'm going to definitely stay in Connecticut, that is, which I really think we're going to be moving. I'm going to double the size of this workshop. I'm really thinking about going about 35 feet, 40 feet long, and 25 to 30 feet wide, and maybe even putting a loft on it. I don't know yet. But other than that, this is where we're at. So gotta get these loose, which is a piece of cake. I should buy a new set of straps for these. These are an old set that I had laying around. And sometimes it just takes a little bit more time to unwrap them than it does to do anything else. But there we go. This one's a little bit easier, as you just seen. I think you've seen. And we'll open this up, and I'll get ready. So you can see that I have it with hooks on both sides. If I was to get a new strap, I would probably take the hooks off and tuck the strap under and then bolt it up so I have a lot of tension here instead of right on the screws itself, and just have the straps attached right to it, which would give me a tighter fit against the bench. So, but anyway, so much for that. So I'm going to start heating up the material. I'm going to shut this off for now, and I'll kick it back on when I'm getting ready to put the material in play. So anyway, while the Kydex or Holtex, whatever it's called at this point, is heating up, and because I'm using the gun and not a mold, a blue gun, whatever, I usually just spray a little bit of gun oil on the bottom part, and I spray a little bit on the top part, and I actually spray the gun just in case. Alright, and I'll be getting the material in a second. So I'm going to walk away for a minute to see what it looks like. Hold on. Unfortunately, it's about 15 feet away. Alright. It actually has a little bit more time to go, so I'm going to shut this down and I'll turn it back on when the material is ready. Okay, so this is where we're at. Now I usually let it hang over a little bit because I can always cut this to make it fit the way I want it to fit. So that's what I'm going to do there. And I'm just going to put that on top of that. Actually, I'll run this one this way so it'll help stay. I'm going to place this right smack dab on top. I'm going to take my ratchet straps and just get it on there so they'll be folding. Like so. And now, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm doing here, probably not. So let me adjust this real quick here. I never worked with this Holtex stuff, so I really don't know how long it heats up and how long it stays hot enough to do whatever it is it's got to do. So, alright, so that's all done. I think that's going to be tight enough. You know, it'd be nice if I had the mold, but because I don't do this for a living, it would be foolish for me to buy a mold. Nor do I want to do it for a living. I'm sure after you do a few of them, you know, it just comes natural to you. But there's enough guys out there doing it. Let them do what they have to do. They're set up to do it. I've got too many other things on the fire to where this is something I want to get involved in. So, like I say, for me to buy the blue guns to do one or two holsters for myself, it would be foolish. So I take the chance and use the real gun and just take it one step at a time. Yeah, I try not to apply too much pressure, and we see what happens. Now in this case, if I hadn't put too much pressure on it and I had to do it over again, well, you know what? It's cheaper to buy, you know, the Kydex than it is to buy the blue gun. You know, I mean, here in Connecticut, I can buy a 4x8 sheet of it for like 20 bucks, 22 bucks. That's one thing that's pretty reasonable around here. So, yeah, it would be foolish for me to go out and buy blue guns or molds every time I wanted to do something. I was going to try to make a few molds and make a casting. And it was coming out all right, but as soon as I tried it and put it under pressure, the casting had broke. So that didn't work. I was using plaster of Paris, and naturally that's kind of brittle. Again, I wasn't going to buy the mold liquid and go nuts again, because again, I'm not doing it for a living. You know? So anyway, we'll let that sit there for a few minutes and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I got the straps off. Now, see how this stuff works, because I never use this Holtex or whatever it is it's called. Well, I'll tell you, I probably could have applied a little more pressure or made it a little bit warmer, but it looks like it's going to have enough tension on it, so I don't care. I'm going to continue on with it. I like the finish on it better than the Kydex. It has a different, I mean, it's almost the same, but it's not, if you know what I mean. And I like the finish better than Kydex. I didn't notice the difference until it was actually molded, you know, and you've got the contours in it to see that the finish is different. You know, so I kind of like that. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. First thing I want to do is make sure the gun is operable. So, you know, we want to make sure we didn't do any damage to the gun. It doesn't feel to have any damage done to it. So let me wipe it down. And get the oil off it. Seems to rack okay. Let me put the magazine in it. Yeah, everything seems to be okay, functionable. So the chambered one at this point. So that's where we're at. But it seems to be okay. So with that being said, I will put this together and put a couple of Chicago screws in it and see how the retention is. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let me put this back together and get it out of the way. like I say, when I made this, it was strictly for, you know, my own use. A lot of guys had already asked me for the measurements on it. You know, I mean, I gave them the measurements. It's not a big deal, but it's a simple thing to make. You make it whatever size you feel you want. You know, if you want one 24 inches long, you make one 24 inches long. You know, if you want it 36, make it 36. You know, make it whichever size you want to make it. It's just that you have to buy, you know, more pads to put them together. So, but other than that, you know, it's relatively simple. Let me take these hooks off here and I'll give you a better look at it just in case. Because first of all, you want to use a pretty decent grade of plywood. You don't want to use something that's full of knot holes and such. So you want to have something that has a pretty good finish on it. And if you look at this, there's two. There's a smaller piece in here, which is 13 inches because the pads are 12. And then I put the larger piece over the top of that because I don't want to take any chances of this, you know, bellowing or warping. And I did the same thing with the bottom. And then I put a couple of these strips on the bottom so I can tie it down, you know, using the clamps. And then I put the hooks on it just so I could put these hooks on, you know, for the strapping. That's why I said if I buy new straps, which I probably will, I'll cut the hooks off and I'll take these off. I'll bring the strapping down and underneath and I'll attach it down here with staple screws, washers, whatever. This here way it won't be pulling direct on it, it'll be pulling on this corner instead of putting all the pull or the tension on that screw there. So this here way I won't have these in the way, nor will I have these hooks in the way, because these hooks kind of off balance it a little bit because the hooks go down farther than this strap. If this was a little bit thicker, then it wouldn't have been a big deal. So you could do either or. If you like the hooks, use the hooks, whatever. And then I did this with a half moon because I wanted to have even amount of tension, because if you just bring the strap across it, you're not going to get the tension that you need as evenly as you're going to need it, and you're going to have problems with it. So I put a piece of 2x4 in there, which I cut. Then I cut 2 pieces of ply, as you can see, and I made them a little bit bigger so that I've got that 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch channel so that the straps can't fall off from either side. So that's basically how that came out. And it works good, like I say. You know, you can make sheathings for knives, whatever you want to do with the damn thing. I mean, for the size and for me, it's perfect. I have the wood laying around most of the time, so it wasn't a cost factor on the lumber. But if you went to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something like that and picked up some decent ply, you can buy the quarter sheets, you know, and that would probably, maybe not. You may have to buy a half sheet if you do it with the larger pieces. So, but yeah, the quarter sheet's not going to do it. Yeah. But wait a minute. It's going to be tight if it does. But anyway, because you're going to need the side pieces too, so you're better off buying a half sheet. But anyway, that's what that is. So I'm going to get back to working on the holster, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get some drilling done.